Hi everyone, welcome to Single Value. So today we're going to look at Holicity. This is a SPAC merging with a company called Astra. Astra is a company looking to send satellites into space, and there's something that just really impresses you about this company. Firstly, this chart here. Astra managed to do a commercial launch from start to finish in 4 years. So while it took a company like SpaceX 7 years, at Rocket Labs 12 years, and Virgin Orbit 13 years. So in terms of sending satellites into space, SpaceX and Rocket Labs are two of the most impressive companies in the space that are private currently. So you won't get the opportunity to invest in them as well, because they're not coming public anytime soon. But with Astra, you do have a chance to invest in it with this SPAC called Holicity. And they've also managed to achieve commercial launch in 4 years, which is really impressive. Mind you, tech has advanced since that time. Like when SpaceX and Rocket Labs was launching, it was a while back, of course. So you know, Astra's had the advantage where tech is a lot better, hence they can do things a lot quicker. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that Astra did it in 4 years, which is really incredible. So yeah, like if we look at the deal that's been struck between Holicity and Astra, it's about a $2.5 billion valuation, $2 billion to existing shareholders, $300 million from Holicity, and then $200 million from private investors, and it gives it about $30 million from a Series C raising round. Yeah, so like on a pro forma valuation, they say $2.1 billion, but they minus off the cash there, which doesn't make sense. You should probably include the cash. Like 2.1 would be the enterprise value, whereas the market valuation should be about 2.5. But correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm reading this in the wrong way. But yeah, I think I would take the 2.5 figure. So it means if you buy Holicity today at the 16.25 price tag, mind you, it might be rising a little bit, you're looking around about a $4 billion price tag for the company, which $4 billion doesn't seem too bad for a company that's managed to achieve something really incredible in terms of the execution being so quick in 4 years, much quicker than SpaceX, Rocket Lab, Virgin Orbit. And these are companies that I've paid attention to for many years, and I've always been really impressed about these companies. I've actually been waiting for these companies to come onto the market, but they haven't. But the chance to have Astra on the market is, it's a great opportunity. They're also one of the first ones to actually come to the public market, so there won't be many of these companies. So hence why there'll be a lot of investors wanting to buy into this. Even ARK Invest will likely want to be buying into Astra because of their space ETF. Though they might also do it with their autonomous tech and robot ETF, which they hold Virgin Galactic in that. So I don't see why they wouldn't hold Astra as well. So that itself could also propel Astra's valuation. Yeah. So in terms of the current launches, they eventually want to get to about 300, which they say will almost be about daily. And in terms of the dedicated launch price, it's going to be super low, much lower than Rocket Lab's 5 million, which they can send satellites into space for, which is really incredible. Like, it's incredible. Astra's also in that same boat, but they can do it even cheaper than Rocket Labs, so that itself impresses me. Although the big question is, can these guys execute, and can they execute on scale? So Rocket Labs and Virgin Orbit are currently less than 50 launches per year, and in SpaceX less than 30 launches per year, and the other competitors less than 25 a year. But I don't think these ones are that much of a competitor. I would say Rocket Lab and Virgin Orbit are probably their biggest competitor. But if they're cheaper, then I can see them, succeeding very well. So yeah, like as you can see here, this year is about going commercial. They're going to do commercial launches. They're going to build out their rocket factory, and then they're going to build out their satellite manufacturing capabilities, and then after that they're going to do monthly launches, and as they scale up they can do weekly launches, and then bi-weekly, then eventually daily in about 5 years time. So you can see every successive year leads to something even better for this company, and also accelerates the launch time of the company. So yeah, like you got to be really, really impressed about this company and their plans for the future. So yeah, like if we look at the current stats, about 4,000 satellites have been sent into space in the last decade, and about 38,000 satellites will be sent to space in the next decade. So it's about as I say, about a 14 x increase from 2010 to 2019, which will be really, really impressive if they're able to achieve this. And it also means like that if you've got that many satellites being sent into space, it means there's not really a competitor, because no company is able to send all of these into space, so they kind of share the amount that they send into space. So yeah, I'd say Astra doesn't have to worry about competition. I don't think any one of these companies really have to worry about that much competition. There's going to be enough satellites being sent into space in the future that all of them will succeed in a very good way. And as it's put here in this slide here, their system is actually quite flexible and quite advanced. So they basically have a portable system where it can fit into 4 standard shipping containers, and it only requires 6 Astra employees to launch at the site. So it means these guys can basically go any area around the world and then launch satellites from that area, which gives them a huge advantage, because not only can they launch with flexibility of timing, because the one thing that holds a lot of companies back is that they have a set site, and they have to basically ensure the airspace around that site is fully cleared out, and it has to be and it's quite a large area. And it also means they got to time everything to perfection. They got to do it in advance, and then they can launch your satellites. But if you're a company like Astra, you don't actually have to wait and then time everything, because you can just like go immediately. Where's an area that doesn't have any activity or anything flying in that airspace, and they can just go to those areas and then start sending satellites from that area, which gives them a massive advantage over their competitors. So yeah, I think this company is going to do really well, and yeah, like for what they've achieved and what they're going to achieve in the next few years, you got to say, yeah, this is going to be an amazing company. Of course, it comes with a lot of risks. You're entering the space area. There is risks around this area. So I think as much as they're exciting, you do have to recognize that, hey, there is risks around sending satellites into space. But if they can execute, they're going to be a very, very valuable company going forward. So yeah, like if we look at the revenues, this year they're looking about 4 million revenues, next year 67 million, year after that 256 million, and then year after that 780 million, and eventually they're hoping to do $1.5 billion in 2025. So you can kind of see that, wow, they're going to be scaling up really quickly, and the revenue base is going to be growing really quickly as well. So as you can see by this breakdown, this year they're looking at about 3 launches, and that's hoping to generate about 4 million in revenue. And then next year they're looking at 15 launches, and that will generate $47 million in revenue, with some extra side revenue as well. And in 2023, 55 launches, generating about 206 million revenue. And in 2024, 165 launches. So you can kind of see it accelerates even more quickly as time goes. and eventually their revenue will be 619 for the launch. And they're earning quite significant revenue from other sides as well, say like the modular spacecraft platform revenue, that's 123 million. Eventually in 2025, once they get to 300 launches or more, they're doing about 1.1 billion in revenue, in launch revenue, and also 314 million in modular spacecraft platform revenue, and also spaceport service revenue. So yeah, like you got to be really impressed with their plans, how fast they'll be ramping up in the future. It's definitely one for the long term. And mind you, the risk can be quite high as well, but there's not really that many opportunities to invest in companies like this. I think they've proven that they're incredibly good at what they do. There are some very intelligent people who are executing really, really quick. And yeah, I think this company is just so interesting, and it's got that high potential about it. It's basically the next best of, like, a lot of people want to invest in SpaceX, but you don't really get that opportunity. But you do get an opportunity right now to invest in Astra, and you can do that through a SPAC called Holicity. Yeah, so I think at the current 4 billion valuation, it's not too bad. I think by the end of the year, it could be worth $10 billion if it can do those 3 launches that it says it's going to do, right here. So yeah, I think the minute they can do those 3 launches and prove out what they can do, I think they're worth about a $10 billion company. And as over time, I think in the next 5 years, this company could be worth about anywhere between 30 to 40 billion dollars, as long as everything's on track and they're proving out what they're doing, particularly with their tech. Not a lot of companies have this kind of tech. And the pricing for them sending satellites into space, it looks like it's around 3 to 4 million. If we divide the launches by the launch revenue, it seems like it's about $3 to $4 million, which is a lot less than Rocket Lab's 5 million. So you got to say, like, if you're the cheapest one in the game, everyone wants to come to you to do this. And yeah, these guys also are proving that as they do more launches, their gross margins can grow up to as much as 70%. So that's going to be some incredible margins. Not only can they do it cheaper than everyone else, they also get really brilliant margins. So there's a lot to like about this company, and I think the minute they can do those 3 launches without fail, it proves a lot about the company, and the valuation really goes up from there. So if you've got any questions or comments, just post below. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts about the company is, and until then, good luck investing, everyone.